Hello, this is Keith Cooks. I'm Keith, and today I'm going to show you how to make ravioli, in this case with a meat filling and a tomato sauce. So I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, ravioli was something that came out of a tin, and it was this kind of slimy, creamy stuff with sludgy brown stuff inside, and it was in a sweet orange tomatoey sauce, and it was disgusting. But now I know better. Real ravioli with homemade pasta. Sensational. First thing to do is make the pasta, and ingredients for that are 200 grams of plain all-purpose flour, a splash of olive oil, 2 eggs, a pinch of salt, and maybe some water. Now, the flour, many recipes, traditional Italian recipes would say use Tipo 00 flour. I can't get that. All it is, it's an ultra finely ground flour, but plain flour does just as well. So we add a pinch of salt, the 2 eggs, and a splash of olive oil. And the water, I may need some, I may not, I won't know until I've mixed this. Mix it all together. Okay, just a tiny bit of water. We just want all this to hold together, we don't want it to be wet, really. So yeah, there's our little ball of dough, very, very firm. And now we'll start kneading it. We need to flour the surface so it doesn't stick. And just fold it, stretch it, turn it, fold it. And we'll do this for about 10 minutes till we've developed a smooth, elastic dough. Okay, I think this will do. So we'll just form it into a ball, wrap it in film and stick it in the fridge to rest. Now to make the filling, I've got 350 grams of minced pork, you could use beef, some tomato puree, a small onion, half a teaspoon of ground black pepper and a teaspoon of basil. So I've got some olive oil heating in a pan on the stove, and I'm just going to finely chop this onion. Then we add the onion to the pan. We'll just cook the onions on their own for a few minutes till they're sort of soft and translucent. Now we add the meat. We want this to get nicely browned all over. Okay, this is looking good. We add the basil and the pepper, and then the tomato puree. Stir it all in, and now we take it off the heat. So I'm just going to use my stick blender for this. Trying to get the filling a kind of texture of a coarse paste, not really a puree, that wouldn't be right. So here it is, it's kind of gloopy. Let's have a little taste. Gloopy but delicious. So I'm going to put this in the freezer for about 10 minutes, or you know, until it's cool. Meanwhile, I'll get on with rolling out the pasta. So we're going to need a bit of flour on the worktop, the pasta, and guess what? A rolling pin. Obviously, if you have a pasta machine, you will save yourself a lot of effort. I do have a pasta machine, but it's broken, so I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, like Mama used to, and that's why Mama has forearms like Popeye, because this is hard. Okay, there's the pasta, rolled out pretty thin. I'm just going to give it a final smoothing. If you find that the pasta is difficult to roll and keeps shrinking, then just pop it back in the fridge to rest for another 10 minutes or so. That's about as thin as I can get it. It's quite thin. Oh, see my hand through it. So what we need to do now is chop it in half. So ravioli are frequently done as little squares, but I'm going to do them as little discs. So I've got this small steel cutter and I'll just cut out a load of circles. And I'll just show you how to make up one raviolum, this one. Just wet the edge of the top piece of pasta, press it down, make sure it's sealed all the way around, otherwise your filling will escape. And then pop it on a bit of kitchen paper to dry. That's it. Well, actually not quite it. What I like to do is just raise up the edges a little bit so that they're not completely flat, and it just makes your ravioli a little bit more interesting. Right, I've got 25 ravioli there and another 7 outside on a tray, so that's 32 altogether. There's also quite a bit of filling left over, but that's okay because that'll go in the sauce. Now what we need to do is let them dry for a bit, about an hour maybe, until they're just dry to the touch. But you want to turn them over and dry both sides. So what I've got is this tray, clean tea towel over the top, and just put them somewhere warm, like Spain. Now I'm going to make a little tomato sauce because you can't have ravioli without sauce. So I've got 2 big tomatoes, the remains of the filling mix, which is pork and onion basically, a little onion and a teaspoon of basil. First thing to do, peel the tomatoes. So I've got a pan of water coming to the boil. There's enough water in it to cover these tomatoes, and I'm just going to cut through the skin like this. When the water's boiling, we just pop these in for about 2 minutes, and that makes the skin separate from the tomato pulp. So now I want to chop the onion finely, and we'll just soften it in a little bit of olive oil. Okay, tomato skin's softened, so we'll just take those out. Fill this pan with cold water. Pop the tomatoes back in till they're cool enough to handle. Okay, and now the skins just fall off basically. So now I'll just roughly chop the tomatoes and pop them in the pan with the onions. Pop the basil in. So this is coming along nicely. I'm going to take it off the heat now. I'll just whiz this till it's really smooth. Okay, like that. And then I'll put in the filling and whiz it again. I'll put this in a small saucepan, bring it to the boil, and reduce it and taste it and season it and stuff like that. Okay, here's the sauce. I've had a taste, and I added about a teaspoonful of tomato puree and also a pinch of salt. I'm finishing off the sauce by straining it through a fine sieve, because we don't want these lumps of meat. We want a nice smooth sauce. Okay, now we're ready to cook the ravioli. I've got a pan of boiling water with some salt in it, and we'll just slide the ravis in and let them boil for about 5 minutes. They kind of float to the top when they're ready, so I reckon these are ready. Off the heat, I'm popping in a colander. Right, time for a little taste. Well, the pasta is superb. The filling's not bad. The sauce is okay. brilliant. Better than anything you get out of a tin.